What's up, friends? Welcome back to Hobby Vomit. It's me, Matt, and I'm here with another Weekly Retch. If you've not been to the channel before, welcome. The Weekly Retch is a video we do every Sunday, or Ian and I alternate every other Sunday, in which we talk about the movies we watched, the games we played, and the books that we read in the past 2 weeks. And this is my week. And sorry this is going up late. It's one of those things I just forgot. I forgot. It's Sunday. So, yeah, I'm doing it now. Doing it late. Better late than never. So let's start with the movies that I watched. I watched 4 movies in the last 2 weeks. 2 in theater, 2 at home. We'll start with the theater ones. I watched Friendship, which is the new Tim Robinson A24 movie. If you're familiar with Tim Robinson, this was basically just an extended I Think You Should Leave sketch, maybe toned down a little bit, but it was good. You know, I have a mixed relationship with Tim Robinson's sketch show, and I think for every skit I find like hilarious, there's one that completely whiffs. And it's not like it's like, oh, it was kind of funny. It's like nothing. So, you know, it's a mixed bag for me, and this movie was exactly that, a mixed bag. There were some jokes that really, really landed, and some bits that landed, and some that didn't land at all. So I landed at a 3 out of 5. It was good. Glad I went. It was fun. Would never watch it again. Would I recommend it if you like Tim Robinson? Yes. I think you'll at least have a good time, like good to great. I think that's kind of the scale if you're into Tim Robinson. If you've watched I Think You Should Leave and you hate it, you will not like this movie. But Paul Rudd was really great. I really loved Paul Rudd in that role. Tim Robinson was good. It was good. It was a good time. So that was Friendship, 3 out of 5. Next, we saw Bring Her Back, which is a new horror movie by A24. And whoo boy, it was good. It was real good. Scary, sad, tragic, horrifying, all the things. I love horror movies. If you've not watched this channel before, I'm a big horror movie guy and go to see them all. And almost never, if not never, I can't think of another time that a movie has elicited a physical reaction out of me. But this movie did. And sorry, I should clarify, without having to use jump scares. Because a jump scare, right, a really loud noise or a big flash on the screen accompanied by a loud noise, yeah, it'll make me jump. You know, it'll make everybody jump because that's the point, especially in a theater where it's really loud. But this had scenes where there was no jump scare, and it's still like, it still made me like have physical reaction. So like, I gotta give props to it for that. I mean, it was crazy. If you love horror movies, go see it. It's really good. I'm torn. So this was by 2 brothers who directed and wrote it, I think. And I can't remember their names right now, unfortunately. But they did Talk to Me a few years ago as their debut. And I really, really liked Talk to Me. And I walked out of the theater wondering if I liked it more than Talk to Me. And I'm conflicted. So let me tell you what I scored. I scored a 4 out of 5. It is tied with Warfare for my movie of the year for 2025. And up into the last 10 minutes, I think it was maybe closer to a 4.5 or a 5 even. Like, it was really good. And then I just don't like the last 10 minutes, which is such a bummer. It's not horrible or anything. It just went a direction I didn't love. But it didn't ruin the movie by any means. Had a great time. Sally Hawkins, if you know Sally Hawkins, she was the lead in The Shape of Water. She is phenomenal in this movie. I mean, it's kind of similar to what Toni Collette did in Hereditary, just this like masterpiece of a role. It feels like it was built for her. Same thing for Sally Hawkins in this movie. She absolutely killed the role. It was so good. So yeah, if you're into horror, I think you should really go see this and support like indie films, right? I mean, indie films. It is an A24, but it is still like not super marketed for, it's not making a ton of money. And like these directors are 2 for 2 for me. So it's like go support them and put your booty in the seat, as they say. So those are the 2 movies I saw in theaters. And like I said, 4 out of 5 for Bring Her Back, tied for my movie of the year with Warfare right now. Then the 2 movies we watched at home. So Bree and I just bought tickets to go see my favorite band, or tied for my favorite band, Sigur Rós, in November. And she hasn't really listened to them, but maybe a little bit here and there. But I showed her Heima. So Heima is a documentary, like a pseudo documentary of the homecoming of Sigur Rós. So they had been touring for years, and they decided they wanted to go back to their homeland, Iceland, and just like as a surprise mini tour where they just travel to these very, 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 very small towns, kind of unannounced, and just did hosted like a free concert for the locals there. And so you get to see you get to see them perform music, which is always like it's like a religious experience. It's insane. And then you get to see beautiful Iceland throughout the whole documentary as well. So it's really just a cool documentary to watch if you are interested in any of that. What I just said, their music's not for everybody. It does take some getting used to. His voice in particular is very falsetto, and he doesn't sing in English. But if you can just like sit back and enjoy like beautiful scenery and beautiful music, I think you'll at least get something good out of this. And maybe by the end you'll have acclimated to their sound and be on board. But it's one of those things where, like, for me with music, while I am picky, if I'm watching someone perform, I don't even care if I really like it that much. It's just fun to watch people perform. And so if you're like me in that case, then even if you don't love the music, you'll still have a good time watching them perform because they are talented musicians, regardless of whether you like the music or not. So really recommend Haima. Really good documentary. Probably give that like a 4 to 4.5 out of 5. It's kind of weird to rank that. It's hard to give that like a star rating. And then I watched on the request or recommendation rather of Chance Dillon and Ian. I watched Reign of Fire. So, what is Reign of Fire? You might ask, because you may not have heard of it like me. Reign of Fire was pitched to me by Chance as Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale in like a post-apocalyptic world where dragons take over London, which sounds pretty wild. And I had no idea this movie existed and came out in 2002. And it just was one of those like kind of a hidden gem that just went under the radar. And I don't know. It was a very weird viewing experience. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. And it's a movie that, like, when credits rolled, I was like, I should have hated that. Like, it's not very good. But also, like, it kind of was good, and it was fun. And, yeah, I mean, the performances of Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale were great. Gerard Butler's in there as well, very young, and he was good. And, yeah, it was just kind of, like, fun. It's like U.S. military versus dragons, but in London. I don't know. Just one of those, like, who wrote this and why? But I'm glad it exists. It's one of those, yeah, I don't know. Very strange. I wonder how it would do coming out today where, like, nerd culture's a lot bigger and fantasy's a lot bigger. I do wonder. But, yeah, I gave it, I'm right between, like, a 2.5 and a 3, like a 2.75 for Reign of Fire. Had a good time. So those are the 4 movies I watched, and let's move on to the 4 books I read. This is a shortish list for all 3 categories, and I didn't have a super eventful week. But for books, I was grinding some books out. So we've got Dead House Gates, the second book of Malazan. Ian and I are doing a read along on the channel, or a discussion series on the channel. If you've seen that. If you've seen it, then you are currently reading Dead House, or you've already read it, because there are spoiler videos. Or if, in the future, if you've not read it and you didn't want to spoil yourself, then if you ever do pick up Malazan in the future, then you've got a series you can kind of read along with Ian and I. But man, let me tell you, I've been having a great time with Dead House Gates. It's so good. I was telling Bree, it's one of those series that it's almost unfair how good it is, because it's going to sit in like a tier of its own. Like, it's not fair to compare other books to Malazan, because there's like a significant gap in the level of work that Steven Erikson has done, at least so far. We're on part 4 of 4 of book 2, and there's 8 other books that I can't wait to get to. My opinion may change. It might go up. It might go down. I'm thinking it's going to go up, but we'll see. I cannot wait to wrap up book 2, Dead House Gates, because it has been a wild ride, and yeah, I love it. I love it. So good. So that's Dead House Gates. Then on the channel, we are, or maybe just not on the channel, but in my life, we're doing a Devil's Hobby Vomit read-along, or book club, if you will, with 4 to 6 kind of in and out people. Tonight, hopefully, we We might be recording a discussion video. I think maybe just 3 of us, Ian, Josh, and I. And if you see that go up sometime this coming week, I'm guessing, then that means that we did it. And if it doesn't go up, that means that we didn't. But yeah, we are going to be doing, basically we're meeting to discuss either way, parts 1 and 2 of The Devils. We're doing it at a very leisurely pace. So we're about 40% of the way done with the book. We're going to discuss that. First impressions are, I like it. It's been a very interesting reception to The Devils. There's a lot of like, I love it. And there's a lot of like, it's not the first law, so I hate it. Or I don't like reading comedy, so I don't like it. And a lot of DNFs out there. So it's all over the place, which, you know, it's one of those things that if it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's okay. I respect that. But you know, I'm curious to see going forward how my reception will change. I would agree. I don't think it's as strong as the first law. This is probably going to rank towards the bottom of Joe Abercrombie, but it's kind of like Stephen King, right? It's like the bottom of the barrel for me, at least of what I've read, is still like a four stars and up. So it's like, even if this ends up being like a 4-star, it's still a 4-star book. It's still good. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think the humor is good. I don't feel bombarded by it yet. Maybe that will change, but the way people were talked about it, I was a little worried because they make it seem like it's like every other line's just a joke, and it's really not. It's like 1 or 2 a page. They feel appropriate. They feel on brand for the characters. They don't feel out of place. They don't feel like Joe Abercrombie's like shoving jokes down my throat or anything like that. So it's been good. I'm excited to see where it goes. Hopefully it continues on. It's kind of on an uphill trend for me. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So yeah, we're discussing that tonight. So we read that in the last 2 weeks, and man, Stephen Pacey's narration is just excellent. If you're into audiobooks, I'm not even into audiobooks, and man, I've been reading along like the physical book while the audiobook plays. Been a really great experience. So that's The Devils. And then moving on to another Joe Abercrombie. This is actually the only book I finished in the last 2 weeks. So Bree and I, for our breeding, we're reading Red Country by Joe Abercrombie, which is like the 6th book in the First Law universe, but also the 3rd book of the Great Leveler standalone books. I don't know. It's a little confusing. But basically, the 6th published book in the First Law, and I loved it. You know, I'm just I think at this point I'm just a Joe Abercrombie fanboy. Until he you know proves me otherwise. Like, every book is a banger. Red Country was no exception, and I was a little bit worried because this one's a little bit divisive, and I can see why. This is the most different out of all the 6 books that we read. This one is less like medieval and more country, or like a Western. And so it feels like Joe Abercrombie was like, I'm going to read a book. I'm going to read Lonesome Dove. Wow, I loved Lonesome Dove. I'm going to do that. It's a different story, but it still feels like First Law and Lonesome Dove married. And it works really, really well. I was here for it and really enjoyed it. Again, not my favorite of the standalones, but maybe it's recency bias, but I think I like it more than the First Law trilogy. I think I like all 3 standalones more than the First Law trilogy, which might be a hot take. I don't know. And it could just be recency bias, but yeah, I think they all 3 felt like very finished works, and you get a lot within just a single book. And yeah, loved it. So that's Red Country, 5 out of 5. I'll probably be putting a review up at some point. Actually, I'll try to remember to talk about that at the end. But the 4th book I've been reading is Discovery by J.A.J. Minton, better known as Talking Story here on BookTube. This has been a very interesting read for me. I've been reading it since I got the book, which has been about a month now, so it's a little slow going for me, and I'll tell you why. So, first of all, do I like it? Yes. I think it's a very well-written book. I think there's a lot of talent there between the 3 of them, and I love that you can see all 3 of their influence on the story. Like, I think it's very obvious, and I really like that. But I do have a little bit of a problem with the book, and that's just the pacing and the rhythm has felt a little clunky for my taste. It's broken into 5 acts, and every act has 2 parts. One part, which is just a focus on a character, and then and a different character each time. And then the second part is a single character in all 5 acts. But it's the first part of each act is told like in a third person, and then the diary is obviously written like a diary. So it's a little all over the place as far as structure. And I feel like the best way I can describe it is I feel like I'm getting whiplash from this book, because every part it ramps up. We're going, and then we slam the brakes because the part is over. Now we got to go to this diary written first person, and it becomes very like scientific and like hard sci-fi. And then you get to the next part, and it's a whole new character. There's very little bleed over right now. I know it eventually there probably will be, but then it's just like, all right, it's not that the parts individually are bad. They're all very good. It almost feels like an anthology or something, or a collection of short stories with the diary kind of like linking them all together. But just pacing wise, it does feel like I'm getting whiplash every time, because we slam the brakes so I can be like, all right, I got to learn this new character and learn where they are. And it's not like an epic fantasy. Like when I think of Game of Thrones, there's just as many characters, if not more. But you're jumping from chapter to chapter. You're with a different one. So like by the second or third time you've seen one, it's the second or third time you've seen all the others. And so you kind of grow to learn them all at like a nice pace, and it's just like a nice pace. But these, it's like, I've learned them, stop. I've learned them, I like it, stop. And so it's felt a little bit clunky. But all that being said, it's very good. That's my only problem. It's a joy to read. I do find that when I'm done with an act, because of that, what I talked about, I haven't minded just like putting it down and being like, all right, I finished this act. Let me go read a little bit of my other book, and then I'll come back. And then I don't feel like I'm like, ooh, it doesn't have that, because when I finish an act, I know I'm just going to go to another character that I've not met before or barely know. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see what happens, because that little story, that little short story part of the anthology is wrapped up. So that's my biggest problem. Clearly, it was an intentional choice by them. So I think it's just a personal preference. It just didn't work for me as well. But I'm about 50 pages away from the end, 60 or so. If I had to guess right now, it's going to land at a 4 out of 5 for me. Really good. Just I could see a different structure working a little bit better for me. But that's Discovery by J.A.J. Minton. Very happy to support them and really impressed by this debut. So those are the 4 books I read. And then, lastly, what are the games that I played? This is the shortest of the 3 categories, with only 3 entries. Marvel Champions. These are going to be the same ones we said most of the time. So Marvel Champions, Ian and I, we have a playthrough going on the channel. If you like card games, if you like Marvel, maybe check it out. We don't teach you the game, though, so if you don't know how to play, then there are plenty of videos out there that will teach you. And the same goes for Dorfromantic Sakura. Our playthrough is ongoing on the channel. I believe in the first video of that, we actually do teach you how to play that game, so you can kind of follow through our campaign as we unlock tiles and we just kind of chill and try and get high scores like you do in Dorfromantic Sakura. So a couple games of each of those. And then, because I'm a freaking nerd, there's a game called Root, which is a war game, and they've made bots, like AI bots for each of the factions. And so I decided it would be so cool if I went on to Tabletop Simulator and ran a game of just 4 bots. No human. I'm not playing the game. I'm just running the game for them, because I don't know why. I just wanted to do it, and it was kind of fun. And yeah, so I played that game. But yeah, it was good. It was a good time. Something about it, I don't know. It's just kind of cool to see design at work without having to be invested in the game. Just get to watch it unfold, and like, it's pretty good. I mean, it was a close game. I think the Vagabond won at 30 points, and the Birds were 2 points behind that, and the Alliance was maybe 2 points behind that, and the Cats were right there as well. So if you like Root and you have it, I guess it's fun. I might do a video at some point. Who knows? But yeah, that's it. Those are the movies I watched, the books I read, and the games I played. So that's it. I'm Matt. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.